Hi there and welcome to episode 7 of how to use Flux Dev for beginners in replicate.com, and today we're going to be looking at image references. Now this is an area that is quite confusing for a lot of beginners, and I'm going to show you a use case that will make it crystal clear. So I found an image off the internet just to use an example, but you can use whatever image reference you like, and I'm going to drag it straight into the image box here. Now as you can see, it's a picture of a cat sitting on a fence. I just got this off Google Images, but it could be anything. And what I want to do is I want to use this as a reference for my composition. Say I want to put a different cat there maybe, and I want it to be in a similar scenario. Now this would be quite tricky to prompt without a visual reference because you've got a very specific angle of the fence. You've got like a three-tier, three-rung fence. It's in an area of countryside, and the cat sitting on the middle tier. It would be quite difficult to recreate this just from prompt alone. So what we're going to do here is in our prompt box, I'm just going to type, it can be quite basic and simple, photo of a let's just put ginger cat. Let's change the type of cat. Sitting on a fence in the countryside. Okay, aspect ratio I'm going to change to 3:2. Now the prompt strength, this relates to the image. How this works, I'm going to give you layman's terms here because their descriptions sometimes just don't really make logical sense. The default's 0.8, which is a good starting point, and from this point, the further you go to the right, so the higher you make this number, the looser it will be from the original, and the more it will divert from the original reference image and give you more flexibility and creativeness. And the further to the left you go, the closer and closer it will force it to being like the reference image, to the point where when you take it very low, you could prompt in the prompt box something completely different and it would still look very much like the reference image. So it depends on how close you want to stick to that original image. 0.8 is the default value, and that normally gives you quite a good balance between the rough composition and the changes that you ask. So let's just run this and see what we get for my my amended prompt. Now, no matter what you do with this slider, it's never going to make duplicated pixels from this original image. It will never copy and paste and use the parts of the original image over. Depending on the slider, the amount you change that slider, it's just going to influence how close it tries to generate the image to that. So here we've got a nice composition. We've got a similar fence, similar angle with a ginger cat sitting there. And like I said, I've taken inspiration from that reference and used it as a composition guide almost to put my own idea of a cat on the fence. And you can be, this could be anything. You could change it to a dog, it could be whatever. But let's just show you what happens if we move this prompt strength really low. So if I move this down to say 0.2 or 0.25, let's say, and run, what I'm expecting to get, despite the fact I've prompted for a ginger cat, I'm expecting to get something a lot closer looking to the reference image. There we go. So you can see it's not exactly the same. It's very similar, but this has been recreated by Flux. It's not copy and pasting pixels from here over to here. So you can see it's not exactly the same. It's very similar to the point where it's now forcing the cat to be a very similar cat to the original reference image. So if you're trying to create something that's very close to the original reference image, but not quite the same, that's when you can drag this prompt strength really low. But let's just do something completely the opposite. Let's take it quite high. Let's take it past the default. Let's take it to like 0.9, which is basically extremely loose. So it's only going to be taking very, very vague cues from the original reference image, which means we can be a bit more creative with what we're telling it to do. So now we can just put photo of, let's see, a man climbing a ladder. Now I haven't tried this, but what I'm hoping is it's going to give us an image of a man on a ladder with hopefully like 3 rungs on it. It's going to pick up the 3 things from there with the position of the man roughly towards the right hand side of the shot, but it's not going to have grass in the view or anything like that. Let's just see. But it'll certainly be different than if we just prompted that without an image reference. Okay, so it has got some wilderness in the background, so yeah, So you can see some similarities between these two. So it's not a 3-rung ladder, because that would be silly, I guess. But you've got a man climbing a ladder, and you can see where it's pulling very loose cues from this image. So the subject, the main subject, i.e. the man on the ladder, is roughly in the same area of the image as the cat. You've got a similar background. The colour tones are kind of similar. And overall, they kind of almost still fit together. Now, this is good because it allows you to take an image that is of something completely different than you're generating, but use it to just get a more interesting composition. So let's say, for example, I removed this image reference. Right, let me remove this image reference from here. Right, we'll just click this cross and it'll remove it. Okay, so I'm just going to now prompt photo of a man climbing a ladder, and just see how different it is without that image prompt, based on just the prompt alone. I mean, look, that is completely different. So you can see straight away how useful that image reference was, even prompting for a subject that was nothing to do with the original. So I hope that makes sense, and you can have loads of fun with this. Even if it's images that you haven't created yourself, you can do sketches on a piece of paper and use that as a composition guide and an image reference. And it's quite open-ended and limitless possibilities. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next video.